Hey guys, I was doing a video, but it cut off at a certain point because Spirit's like, it'll be nice. I know. Spirit knows. And oh my God, let me get a lozenge for this one. And I'm like, I know, but Spirit, you know, I got to be kind because he died. He died, well, yesterday as of time. He died on the same day Trump got indicted. And he did later say, Trump, get over it. You lost the election. Come on, move on. Pat Robertson died. And I was in the middle of making a video, but never mind. Spirit was like, the video cut off. I think I actually tapped the mouse, but I was like, yeah, Spirit didn't like it when I got to be careful. But Spirit doesn't mind me talking about some things that do need to come to an end. And there's some televangelism that needs to come to an end. And Pat Robertson ran the 700 Club since 1966 and said a lot of things that were pretty bad. Okay, he did. I know, Spirit, what do I, I had a quote here. I guess I could air it, but, yeah, he said a lot of bad things. And when I was looking at the list of quotes, some of them I couldn't even say because I'm like, YouTube might, say things, stop me and go, oh my God. And it's like, I'm just repeating this guy. You've aired all his crap for years on YouTube. But, he said things about, women not being attractive, and that's why their husbands cheat. You look nicer. He said horrible things about Haiti, selling their soul, whatever, and he said tons of things about homosexuals. And I think Spirit was like, oh God, don't show, it's so negative. I mean, tons of things that were horrible about homosexuals, and, here's one, the feminist agenda is not about equal rights of women, it's about a socialist and family political movement that encouraged women to leave their husbands, kill their children, practice witchcraft, destroy capitalism, become lesbians. And he said shit like that about women. And, and of course, I know this is painful for the ladies to hear, but if you get married, you have accepted the headship of a man, your husband. Christ is the head of the household, and the husband is the head of the wife, and that's the way it is, period. He said stuff like that. And he had weird ideas about, Israel, there's the end time, and, and that's one of the things that a lot of televangelists hold on about is these, they're very obsessed with Jesus coming back, but we know in the prophecies that bad things happen to the planet. So why would you want to rush Jesus back if a lot of horrible things happen? It seemed like they're all hungry and eager for that moment, which really, because they think they're going to be taken out of the way and Jesus is going to be happy, and or they're going to be happy Jesus is there to take them out of the way, and oh man, it's just a bunch of stuff. And he's got some really bad, I mean, if you pull up his quotes, what he said, yeah, like feminism, and it just, and just say like this one, I hate to say them, but forgive me for even repeating. Homosexuals want to come into churches and disrupt church services and throw blood all around and try to give people AIDS and spit in the face of ministers. Yes, he said that. That's probably one of the worst quotes. He said a lot. And, he said horrible things. Now, me, like, I remember, like I said, I told you guys back in the day, when I was in school, I did a little intern at the Department of Health. I did see people suffering of AIDS, dying of it. The hair is gone, their, skin and bones turning pale, and to say things like that is incredibly insensitive and cruel and disgusting. And he said, horrible things. And I know he's dead, and we want to be kind, but especially about women and feminists. Like if a woman is, rights, the things he says, what they want to do. And then, of course, government was instituted by God to bring his laws to people and to carry out his will and purposes. And just, and comparing, liberal America, like liberals to, Nazis, okay? Which is terrible. And the horrible things he said, he said, of course, things about New Age, yeah. I just, some of this you can't repeat, it's so vile. And to think, and, talking about even, Muslims and everything, and it just, it's scary stuff. Even talking bad about Halloween, kids shouldn't have Halloween, and, there's this quote, I think we ought to close down Halloween down. Do you want your children to dress up as witches? The Druids used to dress up like this when they were doing human sacrifice. Your children, oh my God, it's just horrible, stupid things he said, but they're scary because they're people. And then horrible things about Planned Parenthood, they actually do save lives. Okay. Oh, there's one. Oh, you went after Hinduism. We're importing Hinduism in America. The whole thought of your karma meditation, the fact there's no end to life and there's this endless wheel of life. This is all Hinduism chanting too. Betty, oh yeah, you went after the Hindu gods, and he called them, I don't even want to say the word because I got Lakshmi on the screen. She's beautiful. He called them the D word. And we can't let that stuff come in America, so he attacked Hinduism. Okay. The Kali Yuga. Oh, yeah. How could there be a peace when drunkards, drug dealers, communists, atheists, New Age worshippers of the S word, secular humanists, oppressive dictators, greedy money changers, revolutionary assassins, adulterers, and homosexuals are on top? Horrible, horrible things. Horrible things. And of course he would look at someone like me and judge, even though, yes, I'm a tarot reader and a spiritualist, but I'm using Word of God. I don't Word of God in the video. And then, yeah, like it or not, males have a tendency to wander a bit. What you want to do is make a home so wonderful he doesn't want to wander. Yeah, he should know stuff that it says in the Bible, but, and that's, and just the horrible things that he said on AIDS and just horrible things. So, what do I say about this, about him going? The same day that Trump gets indicted for documents, and that we're in some interesting times. Yesterday I just posted about, New York. It's got that orange haze and that moon, and oh boy, it's, the signs that are coming. But, Spirit, I'm sure, wants things to come to an end. The light worker way, let me just explain. I've tried to explain about it. We need to learn to respect all religions. Okay? We're not the only country in the world. There are cultures all over the world, and until we learn to be respectful of other religions, we need to. There was a time that, Solomon had his temple, and he opened it, and he would trade with other people around the world and be respectful. Okay? And so that's the thing. And even the High Priestess card shows the two pillars, Bo and Jashin, to represent the two pillars of Solomon. Okay? And, and there is different various aspects of Christianity. The tarot is kind of more, a little Gnostic. It is. It's got some things, different wisdoms grafted in. There's definitely a feminine element. The High Priestess is very, you have to, I guess, when you're doing the work, the High Priestess has Isis. Oh, yes. It's clear with the headdress, but there's also Mother Mary. There's also Persephone, and she's represented with the moon. The feminine, there's a lot of feminine. There's a lot of books of Bibles that weren't included. Okay? But, there's been, sadly, a lot lost in translation thanks to people like this. Okay? and saying things like that. But Spirit is, wouldn't you think Jesus would respect others? Now, I know he kind of says, I am the way, the truth, the life. I know. But, he respects other places. That's like he flees to Egypt, as a or like the family fleed to Egypt for protection. There's other things. And where was he for, roughly, about about 18 years? Because then he showed back up at 30, and where there's a gap there missing of time from being a child to when he got baptized by John the Baptist. There's tales of him traveling, even to India, yes. And I'm sure some of you have heard that. And so, he went around. Of course, if he's like, well, let me get around and kind of visit some places and check things out, if he's, to get educated, you think he would do that. But, and he tried to teach things about, love your neighbor as yourself. That's a big one, your neighbor. Okay? And even Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, he tries to teach love your neighbor, right? Your neighbors, your friends, your other countries, your peoples, your cultures. Jesus never said anything about homosexuality, and they know it. And they know it. He never did. Okay, there's nothing. Nope, they can't. Nope, there's nothing. Okay, we also know, the story that he was never sinned, cast the first stone. They were trying to trick him because there was not witnesses to the adultery. It's required to stone a person. But see, Jesus was, they're trying to trick me, but he also found a way also he didn't want anybody stoned. And he was probably psychic and knew it. Yeah, she did it. But he looked for a way that she wouldn't have to suffer. He did. They tried to trick him, and he knew the law. Yeah, there's not two witnesses. But instead of even throw that in, the law, you don't have two witnesses. We can't do it. He said, but he was never sinned, cast the first stone. He said that, and then they all just went, yeah. And see, that's the way we need to be. Pat, he said a lot of things. I know we've all said something dumb, but, it's definitely a sign, as we're checking signs. As Spirit's like, maybe some things need to come to an end. Okay, yeah, I have a selenite wand. It's kind of a stone. It purifies. But he was never sin, cast the first stone, yeah. But Jesus also says, love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus never said anything about homosexuals. And we know there has been edits with the Bible. Okay, even putting in things like mediums and things like that, And then there is also certain things that evolution, evolving not just as a species, but to evolve in spirit. Just because maybe there were some people who had certain ideas about things 2,000 years ago doesn't mean we need to have them today. Truth is an interesting thing. Word of God is powerful, yes. But notice when I Word of God videos, certain things, they're different. Just like especially when I do images of God, the shortest verse I found, there was a few I was able to pull out of that. Jesus wept was, which is the shortest verse in the entire Bible, is on that one. Okay? And sometimes that worries me, that what's going to be the thing, the lesson that, But, he's love your neighbor as yourself. Love your enemies. Bless those that curse you. Golden rule. Okay? Be kind. It's not that hard. Okay? And this was, with this, it needs to come to an end. This kind of preaching, saying things that are so hurtful to people, needs to come to an end. And then try to make it, this is the American way to be this, and this, stuff like this could destroy America. Yeah, the things he said, the things he preached, and the things he put in people's minds. And Spirit is like, love your neighbor as yourself. We got to respect all religions, and really there's a lot we can learn, even going after Hinduism. Ooh, okay. You know, is it because there's a goddess? Okay, maybe once I've tried to say things about, meditation, which can be very, oh boy, helpful to the mind, or yoga, which can be an amazing practice, not just for good for the body, but for the soul and spirit. Okay, so, we're learning to respect, and then also you can open a book and learn from some things. Buddha's wisdom, three things cannot be hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. That's one thing, can't hide them for long. Okay, who are the two witnesses? Well, you're going to find out. The two witnesses, everybody thinks it's going to be your eyes. Okay, and he sees right through them when he's inside you, way you look at people. So with Pat, yes, hopefully he'll get, I made one video and I was a little irritated about him, and I showed his stuff, but then I was like, yeah, I think Spirit wants me to do it different. He's probably maybe on the other side, going to have a talk with him. Okay, I'm not saying, he's going to go to a bad place or anything. I certainly don't wish that on anybody, but maybe kind of correct him on some things. That it's time to correct you on some things, because that's some very scary stuff. And he had the Christian Broadcast Network, and he broadcasted some really terrible things, and and then Jerry Falwell, oh boy, when he blamed 9/11 on yeah, my dad didn't like that one. We won't even read what he said. You're welcome to look it up though. And, Pat agreed with him. And 9/11 is anybody who was in those buildings. And I've had people, in the group, lost people in 9/11. I've talked to some before. So as I, say that, yeah, some things need to come to an end, and his passing may be a symbol that this kind of talk by preachers needs to come to an end. Because Jesus is like, well, it's a Jesus revolution. Because the hippie people in the 60s, they weren't like that. They're what they were, they were talking about love. And I know they did some LSD and some psychedelics, and maybe they shouldn't have done that, maybe. But I kind of understand why they did. They were looking for freedom and enlightenment, a deeper understanding. When some went to India, like the Beatles, yes, just like my teach. I just wondered what. He got a lot of knowledge, too. I mean, he's smart. Okay? But, we need to evolve. People, 2,000 years ago were, they were a product of their times. Jesus was way ahead of his time. And that's why he said things that made people go, wow. And he was able to heal people. Somehow he was really even more scientifically, where did he get the power to heal? Maybe he did get, light transference. Maybe he was in Japan and got the Reiki. I don't know. But he was able to heal even in the physical. I've been able to do it with Reiki. Okay, it can. And you don't have to be, I don't know how to explain it. What do I say? But when you get the light, it can be done. Okay, there are even nurses who got Reiki and they've done Reiki and things. So there are cases of it. Okay, it's a beautiful world. There's people that are, we're all different colors. We are different sexualities. Come on, we need to get with the times. And there's a lot to learn from other cultures. And this is very narrow-mindedness. It's a narrow gate, but you got to be open-minded to get through the narrow gate. And love neighbors as ourselves. Or, if people continue with this kind of mentality, we're not going to evolve. We're just going to continue to devolve. 1966, he said that, and he just, I don't know, he worsened with age versus getting better. It's clear. So let's kind of wipe that, and let's pull some Ganesh cards, because he's the remover of obstacles. Let's look at some wisdom. Belonging. Okay. People, there's that song, maybe I need to put it in the community, We Belong. Okay, people want to be able to belong. Okay, and I know we have certain groups, just like high school, there's groups, but, we have all kinds of people in America, and they all belong. Okay, he wants to say, no, no, they all belong. Okay, protection. Yeah, we need protection from stuff like that. And that's why we can't have people like that running the country with weird ideas like that. Okay? And also, people need, sadly, protection. Certain groups, LGBTQIA needs protection. Women need protection of their bodies and all kinds of stuff. We need to return to innocence. Let's be like children again. Remember when you were a child, you liked everybody? And you wouldn't say, oh, what's wrong when you're a child. It's when you're adult, it gets weird. It's okay to be candid, but let's not be ignorant. Okay? We know the truth. It's promoting hatred and division and saying the things he did. There's a lot that's really disgusting that I don't want to read. We need better insight. We need better insight, on things of the Spirit. We're all learning. I'm learning every day something new. And we need to embrace each other. Look like Ganesh, she's got that little mouse he's being friends with. They're both different, but, he really likes that little mouse. Okay? And we need good guidance, not guides like this. Yeah, he needs guidance on the other side. Okay? But good guidance. Good spiritual teachers. Dr. Wayne Dyer, oh, he's so much better to listen to. How about him? He's a good one. Or even watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I end up getting the CD collection, or the DVD collection, let me correct that. Divine Support. We do have it. Okay? And there's divine support, from all over the world. There's all kinds. Oh, there's Shiva. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Especially on the guidance. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That doesn't teach, saying what he did about Hinduism doesn't teach respect at all. And the thing is, he doesn't know anything about it. I'm sure he never read anything. And I don't claim to be an expert on the writings, but learning, working with the deities. Lakshmi was very helpful for me. It looks like I do have a job. Everything should be finalized tomorrow. She's on my screen and she's larger than life and very beautiful. Couple elephants. She's gorgeous. Okay, very beautiful and peaceful. The art in India is stunning. Okay, and it's very sad that, sometimes people can look at beauty and say horrible things about it. And images of God, and to call them, you attacking the light, And people of Haiti, not even trying to understand their culture, what their beliefs are, attacking the light. Okay? So let's be better. Let's not be ignorant like that. Let's let ignorance pass away with him, and Jesus can school him and maybe tell him, hey, I did some traveling over the years. Let's have a talk. Have a seat. He'll have a talk with him, I'm sure. Okay? So, you got this internet, sacred texts. If you Google it, it will take you to a site. You can learn about other cultures. But other things, let's try to understand, that just because somebody is different from you does not mean there's something wrong with them, okay? And feeding, things like this, that's not Christian. That's not loving. That's not love, okay? It's just like, the quote here, let me read it again. What does Wonder Woman say? Let me get to it. It's not about what you believe, and I believe in love. Only love will truly save the world. Only love. That's not love and stuff, what he said. And a good preacher, of the gospel, or if they're going to talk about Jesus who loved all and died for all, is going to talk about love. Okay? And that's, yeah, well, let's just say goodbye. And I hope you find Jesus, and I hope he educates you, Pat. You know, because you lived to 93, but you know, you still have a lot to learn. And maybe, you know, if you're reincarnated, you in another country, maybe in India even, you'll learn a little bit more in the next lifetime. I mean, we all have to learn something, but let's not end up 93 one day and be like, oh man, let's have learned, and let's listen to Wonder Woman. Only love can truly save the world. Have a good one.